we've got some new paint. Neither of these colors. You know, the British paint was just too pricey, and I can't say I loved it. And any of their colors that were slightly warmer, but in the same family, were just too yellow for the house. And so, I mean, and I don't have time to wait for Benjamin Moore from Paris. So when you see it go on is the first time I'm going to see it go on. So winter's coming. As of Monday or Tuesday, it's going to start getting cold and painting season is over. So these are the last days of warm enough to do this. So let's get a coat of paint on there for winter and move on.
This is a little job, but it's going to be a good job. As you know, Leslie is working on paint for the doors. And so it just makes sense to take a look at some of the caulking and to re-caulk some of these windows, partly because it looks gross and partly because it's not, in some places it's really weak. So we're gonna re-caulk some of these windows and then of course we're rebuilding the base plates. Now I'm gonna do something controversial. At this point we have a lot of air and a lot of water coming in through the bottom, and so we're gonna fix those plates, but additionally, I think what we're gonna do, since we don't use these two when the outside doors, we don't use at all. In fact, if you'll notice, the building is shifted and they don't open well. So I believe what we're gonna do is just temporarily caulk them closed. So I'll put those new boards in, and then I'm just gonna run a strip of caulking along the bottom to keep the water completely out. And does it mean the doors won't open? Yes, it does mean that. But if we change our minds and want to open the doors, it's real easy just to go take that off, and that would be like a 5-minute job, and then the doors could be used. But in the meantime, a little more security, definitely keeps the water and the air out. Everybody wins. See what we're talking about? Like, look at the water could just run right off that door straight down into the basement, rotting out wood and supports. Well, this is not super exciting time lapse, is it? But you know what I'm really happy about? Of course, it'll look better when it's painted the same color, but we evened out some of the spots that were broken and caulked the bottoms because that was the worst. I'm really happy I caulked between the two doors, since they don't open anyways, and it looks so much better. It's maybe, I don't know if you'll notice, but it used to be like big gaps, and not only did air and sound and everything go through, it just kind of looked unsightly too. So this just makes it one solid piece. Looks great. See what I'm talking about? Now we'll paint that, right? So you won't see it. But that looks a lot better than the gaps, the air gaps. I did caulk the bottom over here. I tried to do a more careful job on the main doors just because you walk by them so many times. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I put tape on it and then caulked it, and then you pull it off and you got a nice straighter line. So I think once we paint it out, I think that'll look good.
So before I start, I have a few mentions. So Rob did do some caulking, which is great, because the window would literally fall out. So we pulled out a bunch. This is still rotting, so that needs cleaned out and taken off, and Rob's working on making new ones, which is great. But because we literally have maybe 2 days left of temperatures above the cutoff temperature, then I'm gonna get started on all the other main parts, and then come back and touch up where all the caulking is and these new pieces that will be at the bottom also. But at least then it's just a few bits here and there that we have to come back to, because we have 3 big doors and the back door that I really want to get done. Well, the jury is still out for me, but as you can see, maybe you can't see in this light, but see how gray or how purple the gray is? Yeah, it was just too cool. Now, whether or not this is gonna have enough contrast with the stone and whatnot once it dries, I'm not sure, but I think it's still better to be neutral and still not white. Well, some may call me boring. However, this was the white, and this is my putty color. It's getting dark now, so it's hard to see, but to be honest, you can see a bit of the white at the top. It's exactly what I was kind of hoping for. It's maybe a little light, but again, as the light changes on the house between the seasons, I think it's going to be just fine. It is a warm base tan. It's creamy. but I think it's just enough color to look like we cared. And it's not bright white, which I still say looks weird on the house. It's gonna blend in and look lovely. And then the middle door, I'm actually gonna do a different color. Soft green is great and all, it's just not saying me. Maybe we'll do it on the stables or something like that. But I think we're gonna go a little darker on the middle door. And then this one got the same kind of khaki tone. I think it's gonna be good. And we'll see as it dries of how things pan out. All right, we got one coat on. I have to say, I quite like it with the creamy stone, which looks dirty out here, but anyways, it's not white like to the right here, which again, I don't love in the white. And I think it's gonna be a nice, subtle, not too bossy, not too yelling at you kind of color, where it looks like we're clean and tidy, but we don't have to look obviously loud. Anyway, I think we're on the right track. Hey, Benny. Well, second coat is drying. Got up to the top of that guy. Did a darker color in the middle. Looks much darker on camera. And then a second coat there, but haven't made it up to the top. Rob still has some of a bit of caulking and stuff to do, but I think we're on the right track. Is it exact? No, but it'll be just fine for overwinter, and I think it'll take care of business in terms of us having doors that aren't super drafty and having who knows who walk under the door in all these little spots here. So I think it'll help. We'll see.
All right, nighttime, and I am so curious to know how much our heater, it's a little colder tonight, so we turned on our little monoblock heat pump in our bedroom, and I am going to the new meter to see how much electricity actually burns when this thing's running. So here we go, walking into the darkness, pitch black, more than a little scary. All right, I put the light on. There are some crazy bird noises. I thought, let's see if we can capture some. Who knows what we will find out here. Wild boar, deer, owls, eagles, more likely pigeons, bats. Does that look like a face? Woo, scary. Okay, I'm coming up here. Hopefully no one's in. Humans. Okay, no humans so far. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, 1300 watts. That's not terrible. The heater's running right now. Let's see what it drops to when we turn it off. Now, there's of course other things like there's fridges and freezers, and there's about 100 watts of lights shining out on the front of the Château, but let's turn it off and see what it goes to. Okay, not bad, not bad. It drops to about 500 watts when it's off, but that means 500 and 1300, that means that whole heater is only running about 800 watts, which is really good because a regular space heater is kind of like 2000. So 800, much better, and throws more heat. Okay, let's do the math. So that means, let's say 700 watts, 0.7 times the evening rate is maybe as cheap as 15 cents, maybe it's 20 cents. Let's assume it's 20 cents. So 0.7 of 20 is 14 cents an hour. So if we're in our room for, let's say we go to bed, let's say we turn on before we go to bed, let's say 10 hours, $1.40 to heat our room for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Rob and Leslie are going to have a relatively warm room all winter for their $1.40 a night. Whoa, thank you, Lord. Oh, wait, hold up. It's not $1.40. we had this thing set to 27. We had it going full blast because we wanted to see how much it was. It's only using that much electricity when it's shooting full blast. And as you know, if you have a heat pump, it runs on for a couple minutes, then it's off for 10 minutes, then it runs on for a couple minutes. So maybe it only runs, let's say, even a quarter of the time. Now we're talking about maybe 50 cents a night. We can definitely manage that because we do not need it anywhere close to that warm. Yay.
Well, I went in to get dog food and came upon Santa's workshop, apparently. Look, they're everywhere. Little animatronics. Cute, slightly creepy, but still cute. So back in the day, I painted my own little village. Wait till Amy girl sees this. They went to town. They got ski lifts. They got villages in the... Oh, they got a train. Wow. This is definitely impressive alpine village. Oh, and a windmill. And then over here, there's more. My goodness. They really have done it up, I tell you. Very, very cute. I mean, maybe we should put one of these guys in the attic. That may keep the pigeons out, eh? They're actually beautiful. Okay, these guys' display is quite something. Now we're on a train. They all are really quite impressive.
Well, good news. We have more roofers coming to check out the stables today. We have a few options and we're hoping they're going to give us a good quote.
Look at the sun on the chateau.
Oh, let's go look on the chateau.
Oh, it was. It literally was just there.
There was sun on the chateau. There was.
Lovely, though.
Does look nice. So we're, you guys have heard us talk about this before. We're not going to go slate, and we're probably not going to go asphalt because no one does asphalt shingles here. No. Which is too bad because we could do that ourselves, honestly. Though the woodwork is going to need to be done.
Yeah.
As you can see, the roof continues to deteriorate, and before you go off on us, man, we've talked to probably 7 different roofing companies. We've had 4 or 5 of them come out. Most of them have ghosted us. Occasionally, we've gotten very few quotes and nothing anywhere close to what we can afford. So we're really hoping we're gonna get a good quote.
Well, we've only had one quote.
One real quote, and it was $170.
But that was for slate.
Yeah, and that's way too much.
Yeah, so.
So we'll see. We're hoping to do metal.
We'll see. I know, this is easy.
So my ambitious wife, never one to shy away from another project, thinks, why don't we just clear this off?
Well, it comes right off.
It does come right off.
Here, and it's just...
And then it'll grow right back.
Yes, but it's just a layer of dirt on the top.
Someday the cobbles will be restored here, but
Well, it's not even restored, it's just cleaned.
yeah, what's the word? Not restored. We will be able to see them again.
I found something today on my journeys that I have been actually looking for a few years now since we've come to France. Heard about them, seen other people have them. I just have never seemed to buy them. And I think they're gonna be super helpful when the students are here especially. These are baguette bags. This is a little bitty baby baguette that we just get when it's just us. But normally they literally are this long. And we get 4, 5, 6 of them. And when they get in the car gets a lot of crumbs everywhere. And this way, maybe it'll be a little easier for the students who do the bakery run in the morning to pop them in the bags. Let's hope they fit. And then we get them home without an absolute mess all the time in the car. Let's hope.
I've always kind of missed having a garage, and then I realized the other day, you know, we got all this space here. Why not just pull the car up? And I remember that our owner used to do that, and so I thought this is perfect. And in fact, this is what a lot of guys would dream about. Big, huge open area, you know, protected from the rain. It's not warm, but we got power, and so we'll change some brake pads and yeah, keep ourselves moving. Okay guys, mid-afternoon, this is a first. This is a first. We have the heat on in our room. And how many volt amps? What? 0. That means the heat, everything coming, it's a sunny day today, so lots of nice solar power. And that is powering the heat pump. So the house is warming up and we are paying nothing for it. Oh man, thank you, Lord. That's exactly what we've been hoping for. Well, this is fun for good old Rob. I have not had a chance to go to the wood shop very often. And we got these beautiful lights that Jeremy put in. Thank you, Jeremy, with new electrical and new outlets too. So we have power for all the tools. And I'm trying to think, what wood should we use? And then I had the perfect idea. I mean, we could go out and buy wood, but you want kind of, I think, a harder wood because it's going to be, even though we painted, it'll be close to, water and stuff. So then I thought, hey, I rescued these old pieces, 150-year-old pieces of wood off the roof. The roofers were going to throw them out, and I grabbed them. They were on the ridge line of our house. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to get these nails out, big, huge nails. We're going to pound those out, and we're going to try to get ourselves some 140 centimeter pieces of board. So these big old spikes are too big for my regular hammers and nail pullers. So I'm getting creative. I just got a big, huge pipe wrench and putting it on real hard and then hitting it with a hammer, and it seems to be working. This old wood is hard and the saw has a difficult time with it, or perhaps I need a better blade. But in any case, we spent some good time getting it down to 7x7. Now we need to get it down to 7x5. So we're gonna cut the small ends off and then we'll get the router out to shape the whole thing, but making progress here. Well, it's definitely going a little slower than I thought. Leslie wants something like this. So we're gonna try to take off, I'll kind of angle this saw and cut some wood off here, and then we'll use the sander and the router to see what we can do. Back at it with repairing these doors and the caulking, and as you can see, the caulking is in pretty bad shape. And so what I've been doing is it makes it a lot more pretty when you just put a little bit of tape on it, and then we'll caulk the edge and it'll look nice and straight. For example, I just finished that one. Now this is gonna get painted, so there's more safety, but the edge looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? And it's all fresh caulking, so it's all sealed, no water getting in there. These big, huge, I don't know how tall are these windows, these doors? Maybe, I don't know, 14, 15 feet tall. So every window is huge, takes forever. Okay, we got her taped up. You can see sometimes there's just a little bit that needs to be done and sometimes a little bit more. But the tape gives us that nice straight line. So it's gonna be a little bit thick in some spots and we'll get her even. Okay, here we go, pulling off the tape. Nice straight line. This door is not painted yet, but already looks quite a bit better, doesn't it? With the caulking and the priming. Now notice this, the door is closed, although it bends in significantly at the top. I have no idea how we're gonna straighten that. Oh, look at the nice job Leslie's done. That's a good looking door. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Well, it may be mid-November, and yet these beautiful roses still have buds and are still blooming. Check out this yellow guy. Now it's uncharacteristically warm today. It's very odd, actually. But look at them. They're beautiful. Oh, I can actually smell them. It's really quite something that these guys are still going. But they are, and we're happy about it. I might have to cut these. It's going to get a little chillier in the next 3 or 4 days, so enjoy while we can. Oh, we got another beauty. These are your little stop and smell the roses moments, guys.
Well, I'm out on the property and I'm looking around every corner I can find because I lost my jacket with my wallet in it. Now, you know that bad feeling. Maybe you know that bad feeling when you lose a purse or a wallet or something. It's bad because you're like, okay, well, there's credit cards in there and driver's licenses and all that. The problem when you're an immigrant is my green card's in there, and also my French visa. Now my French visa is due to get a new one in a couple months, so that's not a big deal, but the green card is a big deal. $500-600 to replace, which, you know, is one thing, but you also need to apply in person in the country. So for our situation, if we don't find it, it might mean me flying back and forth to America to try to get it. Plus, as you know, things have been a little tense with immigration and visas and things like that in America lately. So this is a very bad time to be trying to, you know, get a replacement green card. So we're due to go back to the States very soon to see our kids for Christmas. And I need to find, if I don't find this card, there's a question if they'll let us in. We've done our research. You can get a temporary card. You can get a temporary pass for, I think, $500-600, and then you have to pay another $500 or $600 to get the real card. But then again, you have to be in the country for that second one. So it gets very, very complicated for us. In addition to the fact that we're over here quite often, and that's a bit of a thing too. So anyway, all that to say, Leslie and I are hunting like crazy the last couple of days. I really try hard to keep it in the same place because I know I'm not very good at remembering things. But tragically, this is a situation we're in. Hi everybody, it's almost Saturday and this video is going up pretty soon. Man, we didn't shoot a lot of video this week. It's been crazy. There was the emotional joy of the electricity getting closed off and such low usage. So that's been so exciting from last week. But then I lost my wallet, and I was talking about it earlier. You guys know the significance of that, especially as an immigrant, you know? And so I'm thinking about like, man, am I gonna get home for Christmas? Are they gonna let me fly? Am I gonna have to spend a couple months in the States? It's really, really complicated being an immigrant. And so, you know, I just didn't shoot a lot of video. We were looking through every room in the house, checking every building. And eventually Leslie started also and cleaning while we're doing it, because we think, well, we may as well clean while we're at it, and it's a good way to find stuff. And so I was starting to make all the plans, and I was a little bit embarrassed. In fact, I would even say maybe feeling a certain degree of shame. Now I know it's not the worst thing in the world to lose stuff, but man, oh man, it's a part of me that I really don't like, the part that's absent-minded, and it's been something I've been my whole life, and there's just no getting away from it. I'm obviously trying. Well, anyways, it came to a head today. I've been driving around to the different places we went, and sure enough, I went to Gourmet de Asia, our favorite Asian food in the area. And as soon as I walked in, a delightful Chinese lady came up to me smiling and said, "You forgot something last time." And I almost hugged her in the restaurant. Now, if you know me, I am not a hugging dude. Very appropriate and very careful. But man, oh man, in fact, I almost cried in the middle of that restaurant. I was so happy and so thankful for how great news this was. I had been praying and praying and praying and asking God to help us. And honestly, that has been one of the coolest things about this whole endeavor, is that it's too big for us. You know, like the life of faith, when you take on something that's a little bit too hard for you, or maybe a lot too hard. And whether that was, you know, when the rain was pouring in through the roof and there was just no physical way I could stop it. You know, you just have to trust, and you keep working and you keep making all the good decisions, and then you just trust. You got to trust that God's doing something. And so for me, I was asking all kinds of questions, like maybe God doesn't want us to stay connected to the U.S., or maybe he wants us to renew early because things are going to get worse. You know, it's been a little rough with immigration in the States lately. And so not a great time to be an immigrant for some of us. And so I was asking all those questions. But in any case, I'm super thankful that I have the wallet and that we can go home for Christmas, and that our plans will continue for this next year.
Every year about this time, maybe a little later, but it's such a beautiful day today. It seemed like this would be the perfect moment to go out and cut a bunch of the greens for the 2 pots at the front door. In our house in Oregon, I always had window boxes that I would fill up, and it kind of gets you ready for Christmas to put in Christmas stuff later. So we're out here enjoying the trees. Check this guy out. He is just so tall. He's got some nice pine cones. He's number one. Let's go get some. I am always grateful there are one or two few little sprigs that I can actually reach. There aren't a lot. Thankfully, there's always a couple that are leaning low for me to snag. So beautiful. We're losing lots of leaves now. But guess what I just saw? Uh-oh. Well, I've got my 3 little areas cleaned up. Now, as long as Rob doesn't drive over them, let's hope, huh? And I think they're gonna do good for spring. Let's hope so.
I don't think I know how to save Instagram posts and put them on this video, but Leslie did an incredibly beautiful Château fall post, and I just saw Bingley running in the leaves and remembered it. If you are interested in more Château Grifferaie, her Instagram, Château Grifferaie is great.
Regardless, if I'm working on client projects or on this house where there's endless projects and you kind of have to shop for all of them at the same time, people often ask me, what am I looking for? Everything you can imagine. So I went into our little home hardware place today. Just thought I'd do a walkthrough. I haven't been here for a few months. And behind me, I actually saw a few glass, see if I can see them, glass pendants up over there. But I was like, you know, we're going to be doing bathrooms again soon. You got to pre-scout things so that you're always watching for what you need. I think that little pendant will be great in a bathroom, and it'll be easy to clean, and that pressed glass will just be very pretty with the light coming through it. And I'm happy to be able to buy it from one of our local stores and not in the city, and I hope that it will be a good deal so that we can snag it. And anytime I'm in any of these places, I'm always happy to try to find something that we can buy local. Sometimes we have very tiny places in bathrooms to do storage. Check this out. It's good, eh? Lots of storage for all their bathroom stuff. Little hook on the side. Pricey though, so we'll have to watch to see if it's going to go on sale. But so narrow. Like, not even 8 inches deep. And a mirror.
Okay, this place we've gone to a couple times in Jarzé, and it's hard to get into because it's so full all the time. Beautiful little, and we did get in today, yay. Okay, on the lunch menu, it looks like we have $16 for entree, flat, cheese, fromage, and dessert, or $14 for entree and dessert, main course, or main course and dessert. So what do we have? Jambon grilled ham, steak hash, chicken filet, burger, chicken chili con carne, supreme de poulet, that's chicken, salmon, tagliatelle, or spaghetti carbonara. Lots of options. Some nice appetizers here in the entree. And the desserts. This little appetizer plate here. And Leslie's got a very small little appetizer plate. She's not a big person. Leslie's got some chicken, lots and lots and lots of peas. And I have the salmon tagliatelle. Yep. Okay, we have the cheese plate come out. I should take a video of it. It's a communal cheese plate. And then I got a dessert, this one. We'll see what Leslie gets. Friends, thanks for coming with us again this week. We'll look forward to seeing you next week and even more progress on the Château de la Grifferaie. This closing image is a picture taken by our friend Greg back in Newport of the sunset. Thought you'd enjoy it.